everybody, it is Rosaline Stark, and today I'm going to do a very special video. This is a ranking list in dedication to one of my favorite comics on Tipass called Clown's Joke by kaviix. Clown Joke is the story of a young artist named Gregory who visits a circus in order to spread his art through the victims he kills. Now, before I get into the video, I'm going to have to point out that there are going to be spoilers in this, so if you haven't actually seen the comic, I highly recommend that you see it before you actually watch this video, because I don't want any comments talking about how I spoiled it for anyone. If anything, I want people to enjoy the comic just as much as I did. Like, you really need to check this person out. They are amazing. Now, coming in at number 5 is James. Now, James was a member of the circus, and he was also the brother to one of the characters, Jesse. Now, one of the things about James that I really liked was how he was the supportive, sweet-hearted brother, and he was basically like a bundle of energy. Like, he was the type of person that you couldn't help but love. And it's so sad knowing that his death was so brutal. Just like most of the characters, he was killed off screen, but we do see basically his words before he dies. One thing that I find sad is that this all happens during the performance at the circus where he was supposed to do some kind of performance. And one of the things that I find sad is that before he dies, his last words are, "Brother, help." And it's really upsetting knowing that once he's been killed, Gregory kind of like molds his body to kind of resemble that of an angel that is praying. And it's a very gruesome scene, especially considering that he's literally placed in a cage, and that cage is brought onto the stage, and Kiki inadvertently makes the announcement, "It's here," that everyone sees his body. It's really sad because it's pretty clear that his death really affected everyone. And one of the sad things about this is that the people at the circus failed to realize that this was only the beginning of future brutal death. Coming in at number 4 is Zero. Now, Zero was also a member of the circus, and one of the things that I liked about him was that he was basically a cute little cinnamon roll. And it's really sad knowing that, like, unlike with James, we actually see part of the torture, where Gregory talks about wanting to make him beautiful. It's so sad knowing that while he's being brutally tortured, one of the fellow circus members is just angrily wondering where is he, because he was supposed to bring her a cappuccino. Now, he was the second death to occur at the circus, and one thing I find really sad about his death was that when his friends find his body, it's revealed that he was still alive when they found him. And if possible, he could have revealed that Gregory was the one who did this, only for it to be revealed that Gregory had cut out his tongue. It's even more sad knowing that by the time help gets there, he had already died. And it truly fascinates me with the creativity that Gregory puts into his work, and how he literally sees this as making them more beautiful than they already were. Now, coming in at number 3 is the family dog. Now, the dog actually belonged to Gregory's father, and it was actually the first living thing that he had actually killed so far. Now, one of the reasons why this was included was because one thing that truly fascinates me about the family dog was that Gregory didn't kill it because he wanted to create some kind of twisted art. No, in reality, his mother, whom he deeply loved, actually hated the dog and didn't want it to begin with. And he had, through his innocent child mind, actually believed that killing the dog would make his mother happy. And as a result, he literally burns the dog alive and then waits for his mother to arrive, and when she does, he tells her that he knows that she doesn't like the dog and that he figured this would make her happy. Unfortunately, this ends up backfiring on Gregory because his mother ends up angrily revealing that because he did this, now he's only caused more trouble for her because she actually has to get rid of the dog now. Now, one thing that's really sad is that this act of violence was literally the result of Gregory showing his mother just how much he loved her, only for her to basically make it clear that she never asked for this. it's really sad knowing that this was basically his gift to her, and she didn't see it that way. And the sad thing is that this actually would end up impacting the family much more than Gregory had even realized. One thing, like, it truly fascinates me about how deep a child's love for their mother can be, to the point where they look past how violent their actions may be. Now, before we continue with the list, I want to go ahead and list some honorable mentions. Now, the first honorable mention is victims 1, 2, and 3. These were the very first victims that actually appear in the comic. And one of the reasons why I'm actually including all of them is because they actually are used together to form an art that Gregory actually displays in front of a museum during the opening of it. And one thing that I truly loved about this was that this is actually what made me interested in the comic, because this was just the beginning of future things that were going to happen in the story. And it truly fascinates me how this was literally the first few chapters, and it literally captured my attention. And this is one of the things that made me love this story. Like, it made me look forward to every new chapter that would arrive. Now, coming in at number 2 is Jesse himself. Now, Jesse was, I actually thought he was going to be a very important character, but it truly fascinates me how unexpected and surprising the story can actually be. One of the things about Jesse that's interesting is that, unlike the other victims, he actually wasn't killed by Gregory. He was actually killed by someone else. And it's interesting how as soon as Kiki sees this, she instantly knows that Gregory didn't do it. Now, one of the reasons why Jesse is at the top at the top too is because it's his death that actually shows how terrifying Gregory can truly be, because as soon as Gregory sees Jesse's body, he completely loses it and starts talking about how whoever did this didn't know what they were doing, how they completely ruined everything for him because he wanted to make Jesse beautiful, and had already had plans of how he was going to make him beautiful, even saying that he wished he could do it, but that he was broken beyond repair. Like, this scene really took me off guard because I actually didn't expect Gregory to act the way he did. Like, some people get angry. He was absolutely, like, so overwhelmed with anger that it was nearly impossible for him to keep his composure. And not only that, but he even attempts to try and figure out who the killer was, and does this via process of elimination. But so far as I can tell, even I don't know who actually killed Jesse. But one of the things that really makes me sad about Jesse's death is that it's revealed through, like, some kind of flashback that Jesse had a crush on one of the guys in his group. And it's sad knowing that he never had the courage to confess. It's one of those moments where it shows that death doesn't wait for anybody, and that you either take your chance or you lose the opportunity. And it's sad considering that Jesse was such a sweet little cinnamon roll, and to see him die so horribly is just really, really a huge kicker for me. Now, for our number 1, it is the woman herself, Gregory's mother. Now, unlike the other people, much like Jesse, Gregory actually didn't kill his mother, which really took me by surprise because there's a scene in the comic where he's literally dancing with his mother's skeleton. And I was literally under the impression that he'd actually killed his mother. And when the flashbacks were revealed, I was like, yes, yes, like, I'm finally going to see what happened. What happened in Gregory's childhood that made him the way he is? Unfortunately, I was actually taken by surprise. Just like always, kaviix literally managed to take me by surprise when it's revealed that one of the reasons why Gregory has somewhat of a resentment against Kiki is because he blames her for the death of his mother, revealing that Kiki had survived the fire, and that she actually blamed Gregory's mother for starting the fire. And one thing that's interesting is that Kiki actually didn't see this as a bad thing. She seemed to be fully aware that Gregory's mother was abusing him, and she was under the impression that the reason why Gregory killed her parents was because he was trying to protect her. Now, the real thing that really hits is that in the beginning, when it's revealed that Gregory's mother was accused of the fire, it's here that all the neighbors turn against her, revealing that she abuses Gregory, and that because Gregory loves his mother, he never says anything. Now it's here where Gregory's mother takes him to the bathroom, and it looks like she's actually going to attempt to kill him by drowning him in the bathtub. But it's here that she realizes that killing herself isn't actually gonna truly make a huge... Killing him won't leave an impact on him at all. It's here that she asks him if he's a good boy, and if so, he'll sit there and watch as she kills herself. Now, this scene really took me off guard because it's one of the only few scenes where Gregory shows that he actually did care about someone. And it's truly terrifying knowing that this was his first art, where it's revealed that after his mother had died, he sat beside her. Now, it's never exactly revealed what he did to himself, only that it kind of looked like he carved a smile onto his mother's face and painted a cross onto the bathroom wall. And, like, I really, really was amazed and surprised by how this little flashback ended up ending. Here I was under the impression that Gregory had killed his mother, but here it's revealed that no, he loved his mother so much that there's no way he would have wanted to harm her. Instead, she ends up killing herself as a final form of punishment towards him. And yet, despite that, he ends up resenting Kiki for it. And so, this is my list for top deaths in Clown's Joke. And like I said before, like, if anyone sees this, I highly suggest that you go and check out the book. The link will be in the description down below. So have a good day, everybody.